Everybody talks about the dress, the ring, and even the wedding, but nobody talks about what happens after I do. All right, ladies, welcome back to the Pretty Fearless podcast with me, Morgan Tracy J. If you're watching this in video mode, you realize I am not in my usual spot. I'm actually sitting right in the middle of the office floor. I thought this was just a really cute way to spice up this particular video as we talk about the truth about marriage that nobody tells you about, and you really don't know until you're in it or you're walking through it and you're like, wow, I did not ever think about this. Okay, ladies, I hope you like my little attire. I had a perfect reason to dress up again because I got so many questions. You guys were like, Morgan, can you tell us a little bit more like after I do and things like that? So I was like, ooh, let me wear my little gloves again and, throw on a little jewelry and just have a fun time with recording this episode. So that's what today's video is all about. And actually today's video is in collaboration with me. I have a membership right now that the doors are currently open. We have masterclasses, community calls, accountability power hours, and so many great things in there to help you on your journey as you grow your business, your dream, your purpose, or whatever that thing may be. Okay. So the link is down in the show notes or in the description box. And so check that out because the doors are currently open and you can get in for free right now. Okay. So ladies, I want to tell you that there's so much that people do not tell you about getting married. Okay. And there are some things that I want to tell you about that I kind of struggled with the process of getting married that I really was like mentally struggling with, and then really just kind of in my everyday life kind of dealing with. All right. And this had nothing to do with this spouse or my significant other. This was just me personally. All right. And there's a lot that people don't tell you about. And so these are some things I just thought I should tell you, like some things that I definitely went through in the beginning of preparing to get married, and then some things that I kind of am getting adjusted to still to this day. So the first thing I got to say though, ladies, is you guys had me laughing. Once I originally did my post, you guys were like telling me all kinds of like, oh my gosh, this was a secret. You popped out, blah, blah, blah. There was so many crazy love comments that I want to first thank y'all for the love and the sweet and kind words you said. But also y'all had me laughing. Like I was screenshotting and sending it to my husband. Like, look what they're saying. So it was pretty funny, to be honest with you. I enjoyed your comments, and thank y'all so much for the love and the wishes. And also thank you to everyone who assisted or who purchased things off of our wedding registry. Thank y'all. That was really, really sweet. All right. I want to tell you the biggest thing I struggled with the process of getting married was giving up my own place. Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I know the idea is like, oh, we're going to move in with our husbands, or we're going to move into a home together and all this. And actually my husband already owns his home. So I was going to be moving into his home. And I struggled with the idea of giving up my personal space. Okay. Nobody tells you that even though you're excited to live with that person, you're also kind of sad about losing the things you also like have yourself. So I was really sad about that for a little bit. Like, even as I was packing up boxes, I would like get emotional and cry and be like, I'm about to live with a man. Like it was like exciting, but scary. I don't know. It was a little bit of a different change for me. And I remember I got on the phone with my sister and I was like, I'm struggling with this. Like, I know I'm so excited to live with him. I know I'm so excited, to go and get married and go on this journey, but I'm also really sad. Like, I'm sad not to have my own living room. I'm sad not to have my own like pink couch in my living room, or, just kind of the vibe that I like. Like, I have a whole room that is just a closet room. Like, I'm sad that I'm giving up some of this, even though I'm going to gain a lot more, but some of the stuff I am sad to give up. And no one tells you about the reality is if you've been single and living, on your own for so long, the idea of living with someone else can be a challenge. Even though you're excited about it, there is this inside of you that's like, but I like my own space and I like how I do things and I like my routines and I like that. Okay. No one tells you that. So that was something that I had to work my way through. And also I expressed this to my husband a lot too. Like, I'm struggling with packing up boxes. And so he did even offer like, you can keep your place for a while. If you feel comfortable and you would rather keep your place also, like just to have a place to go back to, I guess. I don't know. Like he even offered that to me. He was like, even if we get married, like you can keep your place. And I remember being like, oh, good. But as I like really sat with that, I was like, Morgan, no, like you may be like, it's a Tuesday night, I'm going to my place. Like, no, that's not how this works. Like, that's a great that he offered that for you to keep your own place and everything. But realistically, you need to live in the house with your husband. Okay. So I will say this is something that people don't say about, because every Christian girl was like, oh, I'm just going to be so happy when it's time to move in with my husband and everything. But because I didn't live with him prior, I think I just had this like anxiety or nervousness of like, oh gosh, what happens if like we get into an argument and I want to go? Where am I gonna go? Like what? I was truly confused on like, how do you not have a like you don't have a home to go to anymore? So it was a little different. Also, no one tells you this is that you're really giving up privacy. Okay, like you might have private like your phone or something, but there's a lot of privacy you're giving up when you live with someone. Okay, and this is just so honest that like it took me a while even to like be comfortable in a lot of areas, and I'm still working through that, and we're way better than where we began. But privacy is really kind of gone, and so that is a struggle, which we do have great boundaries and stuff, but that is a little bit of a different thing. Like you're coming home to this person regardless if you had a good day or bad day. So used to, if I was having a bad day or I was really tired that evening, I'd be like, oh hey, I'd call you, I'll call them on the phone. We talk for maybe 30 minutes to an hour, and then I get off the phone and it's me and Monty the rest of the day. That's not like that in marriage. You're getting home to that individual, you're talking, you're cooking, you're talking about what your day's doing, how your day went. You're with that individual. And so it was an adjustment. And I will say my husband kind of would laugh sometimes. I'd say, we lived together. Like it was even right after we got married. The first like 2 weeks, I was like, we really live together. He was like, yes, dear, like we do. And I would be like, it was like a way like, oh my gosh, we really live together. Like I'm really going home to this man every single day. Your marriage is just like how you date. So if you're dating and you're noticing we never go on dates, or we never have like quality time together, or he doesn't have time for me, or if you're dating and you're noticing those things, realize that your marriage is going to be just like that. Okay. Just because you come home to someone, you have to realize that the routines you already have and those patterns are going to be just like that in your marriage. It changes barely a little. I will say that. Like I used to have a routine where sometimes if I didn't feel like eating dinner on a Thursday, a weekend, or even like a weekday, I would eat a bowl of cereal. Like that would be perfectly fine for me. I would just eat a bowl of cereal. I'd eat some popcorn. Like if I wasn't really like in the mood for like a bigger dinner. But now having a husband, I just because I want a bowl of cereal doesn't mean he wants a bowl of cereal. He might be like hungry to chow down. Okay. So that is also something that I think my routine has had to change a little bit when it comes to the food style and things like that. So the food is the only thing I think has changed in my routine. But besides that, everything else is the same. So girl, if you always came home from work and just laid on the couch and never went for a run, you're going to do the same thing in your marriage. Okay. Like if you stay up really late and always scrolling on Pinterest till like 2 a.m, girl, you're going to do that same thing once you're married. Your routine just comes with you. So I want you to pay attention to that, because that's not something I thought of. I actually thought, oh my gosh, everything is going to change. And it was actually very peaceful one night when I realized, Morgan, you're doing the same thing you always do. You're just doing it at his house now. Like it was just kind of like you're just doing it with him. Like it's different now. It's the same thing you were always doing. Like I was always staying up late. I was doing my hair. I was doing nails, lashes. Sometimes I'd stay up and watch a YouTube video on the TV while I was like having personal like self-care time. I do the same thing, at his house. I do the same thing. So I think I had to realize that. And it was a little bit of comfort that everything doesn't actually change. The patterns and routines you have, you carry that with you. So if you have a routine of being very depressed in the evenings, girl, that routine gonna go with you. Like you better work on that now. So I wish somebody would have said that, because that probably would have gave me a little bit more peace. But then also it would have made me pay attention to some patterns and routines that I did have, where I would just like leave my clothes on the nightstand and let it pile up. Well, I brought that over to my husband. The husband's like, hey, are we going to do anything with them clothes right there? So you know what I mean? Like, hey, I moved those clothes, but if you want me to hang them up, like those are little things that you don't think about until you're married. You're like, wow, I really bring all my patterns, all my routines. I bring that right into my marriage, because that's who I am. So then you have to start working with your husband for new patterns and new routines, and the areas that they're stronger at, which he's way more stronger at cleaning and like organization than I am. So like things that he's strong at, that's his area, and things you're strong at, that's your area. Some people don't tell you about this before you get married. Even though you're excited to get married, even though you know this person is like your person, you still feel scared. And you're not really scared of the individual. You're scared of failing. You're scared because obviously, a lot of people before you have had divorces. So no one really talks about that feeling where you're excited to say I do, but you're also scared that you just don't fail, right? And so it takes courage. And I will say that it takes courage to get married. especially when you're someone that has your own. Now, maybe if you really needed this individual to do certain things for you, then maybe not. Like it's maybe a no-brainer to you. But like when you're someone that has your own things, it's kind of scary to get married because now you know you're bringing that person into what you have or giving them certain access to your parts of your life now. And so it is a little scary. And I remember feeling like, is this wrong to be scared? And I think I even Googled it, and it was like majority of people like, at first you got to figure out what you're scared of. And when I really was trying to figure it out, I was just scared of failing. I did not want to fail God. I didn't want to fail people later. I didn't want, I just didn't want to fail. And so when you're stepping into something new, your biggest fear is failing, and no one talks really about that. Like before you say I do, you're excited to marry this individual. You're wanting to, but the fear of, I hope we don't mess this up. I hope we really do our best and we really love each other to the best of our abilities. And when our ability ends, we pray that the Lord assists us with it. So yeah, that something no one really talks about is being scared because you just don't want to mess it up. People don't talk that much about, but it's the different living styles. You have to be patient with your significant other because they do living way different than you do. Me, I'm like the type where I like to wash clothes like on a Sunday or like one day out of the weekend, I will get all my clothes and I'll wash clothes, bedding, all that. Like I kind of have a laundry day, but I grew up in a household that did that. While my husband, he's the type where he will wash clothes any day throughout the week just based off of if there's a little bit of clothes. Like it would be a small load. I'm like, why are you washing that small little load, in my head? But it's like, oh, well, there's dirty clothes. I'm going to wash it, Me, I'm like, no, I let the hamper get full. And then on the end of the week, I go and wash the clothes. That's kind of how I'm thinking about it. So anyways, in our household, he washes a lot. So that's something that I realized that he is the type, like, he doesn't mind my clothes piling up. He just don't want his clothes piling up, right? So he'll wash his clothes now. But it was like I had to understand our different living styles and thinking, why are you washing right now? Like you just washed 2 days ago. There's no need to wash. When he's like, well, there's dirty clothes. I'm going to wash. Me, I don't think like that. So I would just say be open to different living styles and understand that you guys are doing things the way you both always have done it. And so you both have to give each other grace for that. And even me, like I'm not a big duster. Like I'll sweep, mop, wipe things, but I'm not going to dust like that. Like I'm really not a big duster. And I remember he was like, oh dear, thank you. Like I seen you did this. He's like, but can you dust sometimes? Like I noticed like we don't dust. You haven't dusted. And I'm like, so he's the type that when he cleans, he dusts every single time. I'm not that type. It's like I dust like a couple of times a month maybe. So I'm like, oh, different living styles, So it's been very different and we both were like, he's a great cleaner. So he does a lot of the cleaning. But I'm also learning how he likes to clean too and how I clean and doing my way of cleaning and when he does his way of cleaning. And so it's been an adjustment, I will say. But it's also just giving your partner grace and understanding you guys do things completely different. Something also some people don't talk about, or after you say I do, is forcing yourself to open up, okay? And that's just like in conversation. You already should have been opening up in dating, but when you're married, you're really close. So if he's like, hey, what's wrong with you? And you're used to saying, oh, nothing. You actually have to force yourself to be like, you know what? There actually is something wrong and it has nothing to do with you, but let me tell you about it, right? Like you have to kind of really pull yourself to another level of intimacy. And letting that person into a new level. And so that has been something that I have paid attention that he would be like, oh, did you have a good day? And I'd be like, yeah, today was good. And I would notice that I would ignore and I wouldn't tell him about the real struggle I had that day. Like I would be like, oh, let me not give that to him when really he needs that. He needs to know the realness. As you continue to open up, he opens up and you both go open up back and forth and y'all build that place of intimacy. But I think I didn't realize that you don't go from 0 to 100 with intimacy. It's like, oh, the day you get married, all of a sudden you're just like free as a bird and you're open and all of it. No, it's really not like that. It's a process. And I think I thought, oh, well, when I get married, I'm going to be like this and like that. No, you should already be starting to be that as you date so that when you get married, it's just a smoother transition. Because if you're like, well, I always keep things to myself. And then you get married and he's like, okay, well, I want more. I want us to have like, tell me about this. Tell me. And you're like, oh, it's hard because you hadn't been opening up from the beginning, right? So you have to be willing to be a little more intimate, even with the things that you want to keep to yourself, even the things that embarrass you, even the things that you really don't really want to share because of how it makes you feel. you have to make sure that you're being more open in your marriage. And usually you're already open in your dating, but the marriage part is pulling more out of you. Also, want to encourage you that even in your dating, you hardly had a routine, but I would encourage you that when you're in your marriage, you're going to have routines. Like you're going to have your day to day. He goes to work, you go to work, y'all see each other later. Y'all might text a little in the day. Like you'll have your routine. But I want to encourage you to don't forget to mix it up sometimes. So it's like, oh, if I'm always cooking dinner, let me buy the stuff, but then he's going to grill burgers. If he's always cooking dinner, then we're going to go out and eat, right? Like, don't be afraid to mix it up because it's so easy. And people did not tell me this because I remember like, oh, we haven't really done a lot. Like, we just come home and like chill on the couch and we have our routine, which is great. You're going to love your routine. But also mix it up sometimes. It's so good to mix up your routine, to do a little day getaway, a weekend getaway, just to go to another restaurant, go to a town or city over and just go out to eat. Like just try your best to mix up your routine. And even though we're only a little over a month into marriage, we've already did a little personal thing for just us. And it was really good. And we actually really enjoyed it. And so I just would encourage that with you. Like, make sure you mix it up. But your day-to-day routine is going to be pretty set in stone on what you guys do, how y'all communicate, what you guys do. But don't forget to mix it up sometimes, okay? Also, I would tell you this. Your fairy tale is what you make it. And I know like we think of fairy tales like based off of movies and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you this. I used to be thinking like, kind of unrealistic. Like I felt like me and him would be on this cloud every single day of our marriage. And it is really great. But there are going to be them days where you just tired and you don't have the energy to be on no cloud with nobody. You just trying to get through the day. You just trying to get into bed and get a shower. Like that's all you're trying to do. So I want to encourage you to remember that the fairy tale is great, but be realistic about your everyday life. And every day is not going to be a fairy tale. But be willing to, those moments that do feel fairy tale-ish, be willing to make it your own. I remember one time we were dating and we went out in the woods, and he's a real country guy. So we go on the side by side and he took me to this like old bridge. It's like a smaller bridge, but it's all the woods. There's a creek, there's water running. It's so beautiful. It sounds beautiful. There's birds, there's everything. And I remember we walked to the middle of this bridge. There's obviously no traffic. It's like an old area. We walked to the middle of this bridge and we're standing there, and then we just kiss. We kiss. And we're probably dating for maybe about 3 or 4 months, but we kiss. And I remember I was like, dang, that was like a fairy tale kind of moment for me. You know, like I don't know, he specifically took me there. He wanted to show me this really pretty area. And I remember like, wow, okay. And then I was like, well, that's not kind of fairy tale-ish, like maybe. And I was like, yeah, it is for you. Like you have to create your own fairy tale, and things that feel good to you, you have to create that. Not like what you see online for someone else, or, oh, their fairy tale is he brought her, all these roses. That might not be your guy. He may not bring you roses, but he might want to take you on a trip. He might want to take you to a place that's really beautiful. And that's what he does for me. He'll take me to places that are really pretty. And I'm like, oh, but that's his version of flowers, if that makes sense, So be understanding for your individual person. Somebody said, what has changed for you since you got married? Like, what has been the biggest change for you since you got married, if anything? And I will say, I think it's coming home to that individual every single day. That has been the biggest change. And to know that I don't have another home to go to. That has been the biggest change, but it's also been very comforting. It's been very comforting to know that I will see him. It's been very comforting to know that you have that individual you can go be relaxed with and all of that. And so I will say that has probably been the biggest change for me. But like my routine is the same. The way that I'd stay up late at home at my old house, I do the same thing at his house. The same way sometimes that I would not really be in the mood to like be very social. Sometimes I get like that and I have to be like, sorry, babe, I'm just exhausted. Like I'm mentally here. Or even to the same way that sometimes the Lord would wake me up at 3 or 4 in the morning to go and study and pray. When the Lord wakes me up, I still get up and I go get my study, get my books, and I do the same exact thing. My routine is almost identical. Only difference is the cooking situation. That's the only difference. And so, yeah, that's actually something, when you get married, hopefully you marry a man that knows how to cook really well. My husband's a great cook, because I'm not that great yet, but I'm working and trying. And have a partner, like have someone that knows you're working on this, so they're going to take care of this, or vice versa. Like it's really cool to have a partner that is really just willing to help you in every way possible. The last thing I wish someone would have told me before I said I do, it's going to be really nice. Breathe. It's okay. I know you're scared, but breathe. It's going to be really good for you and comfortable and nice. So I wish someone would have told me that, because I was really nervous and scared about everything, and kind of overthinking a lot. And so it was just like, get out of your own way. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be worth the wait. It's going to be fine. So I wish someone would have told me that. But anyways, thank you ladies for watching this episode of Pretty Fearless. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Also, you check us out over on Apple and Spotify podcasts. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I'll see you soon.